Good morning, everyone. Our first presentation will be on diagnostic medical sonography. Let's all pay attention to how we can make a difference by being a diagnostic medical sonographer.
Hello, students. My name is Frances Kirkconnell, and I'm the ultrasound faculty for the Health Sciences Institute at Renaissance at DHR Health. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a career in sonography. But first I want to tell you a little bit about my road to sonography. So before I became involved in ultrasound, I attended the University of Texas at Brownsville, which some of you now know as UTRGV. There I was awarded a Bachelor of Arts in Government, and then I became a social studies teacher at Lopez High School in Brownsville. Go Lobos! About 3 or 4 years in, I started thinking about a career change. And so I went back to the University of Texas at Brownsville, Texas Southmost College, which back in the 90s, they were in a partnership. But now they are separate entities. There's UTRGV and Texas Southmost College. At UTB, I applied for the program in radiologic technology, which you may know as X-ray. I received an associate's degree in applied sciences. But during that program, I was introduced to sonography as part of my X-ray clinical rotations at the very end of my program. And well, it was love at first sight. I continued my education at UT Brownsville. I received an associate degree in diagnostic medical sonography. I now have 2 associate's degrees. Now that program was an 18-month program, and I paid for it by working 16-hour shifts on the weekends as an X-ray tech at Valley Regional Medical Center in Brownsville while attending classes, labs, and clinical rotations Monday through Friday. So, as you can guess, I was really tired. Now, after completing my education, I became an ARDS registered sonographer, and I have been one since 2003. And ARDS is the registry organization that grants accreditation to sonographers. Think of it as how doctors have to take board exams. Well, sonographers have to take board exams too, and they come from the ARDS. I worked over 10 years as a sonographer for DHR Health, and in 2019, the Health Sciences Institute at Renaissance created a diagnostic medical sonography program. And I was lucky enough to be chosen to be the ultrasound instructor for the first cohort of the program. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Ultrasound Basics. Now, as you hear the sound of my voice or you hear each other, you're listening to auditory sound, which is between 20 and 20,000 hertz. But ultrasound is sound above 20,000 hertz, or out of range of human hearing. Just to give you an example, an animal that can hear above 20,000 hertz is a bat. Now, the sound waves, or ultrasound waves, those are used to create images with something we call the pulse echo effect. As you can see in the top image, there is a transducer, and that transducer is emitting sound waves or pulses into the body, and then those sound waves return back to the transducer as an echo. The transducer then transmits those echoes to the ultrasound machine, which creates the image that you see in the middle of the screen, the grayscale image of the profile of the baby in utero. Now, ultrasound has no ionizing radiation, which means it's very safe for patients. And it is also non-invasive, which means there is no needles being used. You will never administer medication or draw blood or start an IV. So if those of you who are grossed out by blood, well, ultrasound may be for you. Now, an average day in sonography, the sonographer is responsible for performing the correct exam ordered by a doctor. The sonographer is also responsible to record diagnostic images for interpretation by the radiologist. A radiologist is a doctor who specializes in interpreting diagnostic images, not just in sonography, but in other modalities like X-ray and CAT scan and MRI. In addition to those duties, a sonographer has to provide a written summary of the exam. Basically, as we measure parts of the body, we have to document those measurements and any abnormal pathology we see in a written summary for the radiologist. So then the radiologist will go directly to those images to confirm our findings. If you look at the top image, that is an image of a liver next to a kidney. We use that image to help the radiologist determine if the liver is normal by comparing it to the kidney. The bottom image is a fetal kidney, which if you look at the yellow dots and lines, those are calipers. And those are calipers that we use to measure the kidney in this case to make sure that the size is normal according to the patient's age. Now at DHR Health, we have over 20 sonographers assigned to 2 hospitals and 6 outpatient facilities. Depending on their assigned location, these sonographers can scan up to 20 patients per day. And during their day, they interact with the radiologists, nurses, technologists from other modalities. They also interact with lab techs, phlebotomists, physical therapy techs, occupational therapy techs, all kinds of people who work in the hospital or in the outpatient clinics. But the most important interaction is with the patient. DHR has very high patient care standards. Here we treat all our patients with respect, courtesy, and compassion. Now, do you have what it takes to become a sonographer? If you have a strong background in anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology, medical terminology, if you have good critical thinking skills, if you have the ability to multitask, and if you have excellent patient care skills, all of these things, all of these qualities combine to make a successful sonographer. Now, how do you enter our program? Our program requirements include a 2-year allied health degree, which is an associate's degree that is patient care related. It can be in any of the fields listed, radiologic technology, respiratory therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, registered nurse. And within these degrees, you will probably have to complete college hours in the following: college algebra, statistics, or higher mathematics like calculus. Also general physics or radiographic physics, depending if you have an X-ray degree. Communication classes like interpersonal communication, human anatomy and physiology, and medical terminology. And here's a picture of our first cohort in the diagnostic medical sonography program. They will graduate in December of 2020, and we will be accepting a new cohort this summer to begin in September of 2020. Once again, I'm Frances Kirkconnell, the faculty ultrasound member for the Diagnostic Medical Sonography program here at Health Sciences Institute at Renaissance at DHR Health. Thank you for your attention.